Welcome to Worthy the podcast, a special conversation series that provides a safe space for women of color to share their worthy aha moment. I'm your host, Dominique Clark. And sis, I'm here to remind you that you've been worthy. Hey ladies, welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, come on in the room because today's episode is top tier. I am so excited to be shining a light on an incredible man doing amazing things. And if you have been listening to Ben Worthy Pod, you know that it's not every day that we invite men into the Ben Worthy conversation. And so I am so excited to share with you none other than Mr. Christian Keys. He's an actor, a writer, and a singer. Many of you have seen him in the huge Medea stage plays with Tyler Perry. You've seen him in hit shows like All Rise and The Family Business. He's the creator of the popular TV show All the Queen's Men, which is in its third season on BET+. And you may have heard his music going around. His hit single, Under That Veil, went number 22 on the Billboard Adult R&B charts. And he's just kicked off the So Sweet City Winery Tour. So check him out in a city near you. This month is National Adoption Month, and Christian is also here to share about his adoption experience and why making adoption an option is so important. So sit back and enjoy. Make sure to listen, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast and join the conversation on YouTube. All right, Christian Keys, welcome to Ben Worthy the podcast. How's your spirit?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, how's your spirit today?
It's amazing. Getting good news. My album came out yesterday. Today I found out that the new single, So Sweet, just debuted in the Billboard Top 30 R&B in the country, which is mind-blowing. But God does stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna get all these blessings. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm feeling really good. Really good.
Yeah, that's how he moves, man. That's how he moves. Mm-hmm. I was just saying, for you to be able to be so successful in one lane and switch over to another and have equal amount of success, a lot of people can't do that and do it well. So kudos to you. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you very much. I'm over the moon.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to be honest. I had to make sure you weren't Jamaican because I was like, Christian is over here doing all the things. I mean, all the things. You are acting, and not just acting, but acting in multiple projects at one time. Mm-hmm. You are a model. You are an author, producer. You're now out here singing and touring. Like, come on. How does that feel? How are you doing it all?
It feels amazing. I actually, I think we got to update the resume. I haven't done any modeling in probably 20 years. Just because as an actor,
sitting here right now, you're modeling. The ladies are appreciating.
Oh, got you. Well, yeah, as an actor, you kind of, but to be able to do all those other things, it's amazing. Like it's very surreal. I think what works for me and what helps me and what my secret is literally just to treat everything like it's the most important thing in the world. Like honor it, respect it, and appreciate it, and it'll bless you back. And it does. I love music. I've been in love with her for a long time. Me and music, we have a passionate love affair all my life. So now to be able to put music out, it feels amazing. And for it to be received well, lets me know that, I did what I wanted to do, make honest music that people can connect with. Because if you do that, it'll resonate with people.
Yeah. And I can't wait to talk about the music because I'm super excited about what you're doing. But take us back to 18-year-old Christian. Who did you want to be when you grew up?
Goodness. Stevie Wonder made me fall in love with music when I heard Overjoyed. I could, in my mind, I could see the sandcastles that they were building. And I'm like, man, I want to be in love like that one day. And so the music bug had bit me. And then, so I was listening to anything I could get my hands on. And then probably when I was 12, I think I wrote my first song in English class. I still remember the song. I may actually record it one day. And it's been like that. And like now, like, let's say we have a conversation for 10 or 15 minutes. We'll say something in this conversation and it'll be a song title and my brain will start writing that song. And so I just fell in love with the authenticity of these great musical moments. And I knew at some point in my life, I wanted to make some. I wanted to get it out there and push it around the world. And the timing is perfect. And God is a genius and a comedian, so he let me flourish in the acting space, be on multiple shows, do multiple movies, write hit TV shows, and then he's like, okay, now it's time. And I'm like, you sure? Because there's so much going on over here. And he's like, listen, I can't bless it if you don't make the album. If you don't put it out, I can't bless it. So make it, put it out. Don't play with me. Put the music out. And so here we are.
How does it feel to have this completed project, being obedient to what he's asked you to do, and now being able to sit back and listen to the work that you created?
It feels amazing. The song and the title song and one of my favorite tracks on there, Get Involved, it was really him telling me to get involved. Like stop sitting on the sidelines. Get involved with your life, with your dreams, with the things you're passionate about. Stop coasting and playing it safe. Yes, you're working consistently as an actor over here, and that's a blessing. That's rare. But if I'm going to provide a way for you to get this music out here around the world, then you need to lean into that thing and put it out there and watch me work and watch me bless it. So I love that song because it spoke to me. And every time I hear it, it speaks to me again. And that's kind of God chuckling like, see, told you what I was going to do. So I love it. It feels so good to have it done and to know how much work was put into it and then to have it received and loved by people.
Yeah. Now, you talked about, and we all hear, hey, God is telling us to do this. Let's do it and be obedient. But we don't often talk about how difficult that can be. Was there any fear behind that? Was there any like, okay, God, I hear you, but, tell me more.
There was absolutely fear. And I was honest. I told my son about it. I said, I'm going to do this album. I said, but we have a type of friendship and relationship where I'm always uncomfortably honest with him. Because I want that back. That's the kind of friendship I want, because I never had that as a child. So I want to provide him with that. But I was like, bro, I'm scared. I'm stepping away, not stepping away, because I can still act, and I'm still going to be acting by the grace of God until I'm an old man, till I'm Morgan Freeman with it. But it's scary because you get comfortable in that comfort space, and you get so comfortable, it's almost impossible to stop growing.
Yeah.
And so that's the fear I was dealing with. But I'm glad that the world gets to see me do it afraid, and that my son, he's my hero, one of them, he gets to see me be nervous, be apprehensive, but still trust God and trust the work. And he sings. So I want him to see, if you do it and do it right, it is possible to be done. And if you're a little nervous about it, as long as it's not conflicting or compromising your morals and your values and your integrity, do it afraid, but do it.
Yeah. So Stevie inspired you. You had music flowing through the veins. You were so inspired to jump into music. Who are you now, though, in totality? All the success, your career stuff, you as a father, all the things that make you who you are. Who are you now?
Who am I now? That's you got the good questions. Keita warned me about you. Okay. Let me see. Who she told me you wasn't gonna mess around. Who am I now? You know what? I am someone who has learned not to be afraid of their own voice. As a kid, when you pass around the foster care system, you start to doubt your value, and your sense of self-worth shatters, it diminishes. And, when you go through physical abuse and child abuse, you get afraid of your own voice and afraid of your own shadow. And now I'm a man who's no longer afraid of my own voice and afraid of my own ideas and afraid of my own shadow. And if anything, like, I can sit by myself. I've learned to like and love myself. I don't need to be around people just because I don't like being alone or I don't like who I am. I've learned to heal. I've learned to communicate the things that I feel, the things that used to haunt me and torment me, and the things that almost broke me. I've learned to heal from those, and not just process, oh, this made me angry. No, that's not processing. This made me angry because it hurt me. It hurt me because it made me feel like this. Yeah. And it made me feel like this. So I told myself lies about myself. I blamed myself. Certain things were not my fault, and this, that, and the other. So when I was able to start breaking down some of those things, like, wait a minute, I'm telling myself these lies, that ain't true. I am valuable.
Yes.
Them 12 or 15 foster homes didn't see the value, but I'm valuable. God don't make no junk.
Mm.
So I can start reverse engineering that thing into some real healing. I'm getting chills now talking about it.
Yes,
But
goosebumps.
that yeah, chicken skin. I'm getting chicken skin. But that's who I am as a man now. And you know, that learning process won't end until
Yeah.
God calls me home in 40 or 50 years. But that's who I am, comfortable in my own skin. I feel like I belong in this space of these brilliant creative peers that I have. I now feel like I'm, you know, like I took a picture the other night at a friend's wedding, Ken Wilson, good friend of mine. And I'm sitting there and Mr. Johnny Gill, Mr. Kenny Lattimore, Mr. Eric Benet, and we took a picture and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like a peer, like I feel like I belong in this amazingly creative and brilliant space. I belong here. Thank you for that feeling. And it doesn't go here. It just, you know, it sits in here.
Yeah.
It's like, that feels good. So
Wow.
that's who I am at this space.
That is so beautiful. And I wanted to ask you this and address this in a different context, but since you brought this up, especially that you're talking about feeling sense of belonging and all of that, when did you become so vulnerable? Over the years, we've seen you be so vulnerable in interviews, talking about relationships and love and even your upbringing. What allowed you to be so vulnerable and expressive with your emotions and in touch with how you feel?
You know what? I think it was a couple things that allowed me to do that. I think one of it, I think we're now calling it emotional intelligence.
Uh-huh.
I like the title. Don't get me wrong. I
It's
do. I
trendy.
like it because it's specific and it's potent. And everybody doesn't have a bachelor's in that. A lot of it is because we don't know how to say what we feel,
Mm.
or we're afraid that it's like, you know, my generation, you were soft or you were a punk if you had feelings and you talked about your feelings, not realizing that the opposite is true. That's actually a display of my strength, showing a little bit of vulnerability. I'm showing you who I am, my bone marrow. Here it is. This is me, and I'm not sorry about it. And in learning that, there were them chills again. In learning that, and I love your questions because you're asking me stuff, and I'm teaching me because of something you asked me. That's crazy.
Wow.
But the healing and learning how to break down and decompress what I'm feeling, what I'm going through. Stop rushing, you know, I had to stop rushing through trauma and loss. You know, sometimes you got to sit in that stuff. You know, they say get over it. Don't get over it. You got to sit in that thing, see how it made you feel, what it made you doubt and question about yourself and others, what effect that had on you. Okay. And then work your way through that. And then you can set it down. You don't have to keep digging it back up, but it's going to keep popping back up if we don't heal and process. So I had to do a lot of that. It was a lot of the couple puddles on my living room floor, just laying down, praying and crying. You know, my first adopted mother, because it's National Adoption Month, my first adopted mother, it was not a wonderful space. Right. And I carried hate and resentment for years, for decades. And God just kept dealing with me about it. He wouldn't leave me alone. He would not leave me alone. But he kind of put it in my spirit, like what I needed to do. And he's like, you got to pray for her. It's like, you got to pray for her forgiveness. You got to pray for her to thrive. I was like, I don't want to. I can't stand the thought of she beat the hell out of us. I do not want to. He's like, that's the only way.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth. And I probably had a good 1 hour pray / cry.
Yeah.
And probably cried a puddle in my living room, praying for this woman to be okay so she could forgive whoever beat her like that.
Yeah.
And praying for her forgiveness and then for my availability to forgive whatever nonsense I was blaming me for. I didn't do nothing to deserve getting hit with a hammer.
That's
nothing.
Right.
I was 8. I'm not supposed to hang up my coat after a snowball fight. It's in my job description. That doesn't mean beating it. So when I start working through some of that stuff like that intentionally, it really helped and accelerated my healing. And I got a chance to deal with that. And then also as the father of an amazing young Black man, I'm like, God, I need your help dealing with this because I'm afraid, to chastise my son or put him on timeout or, because I
Yeah.
don't want him to ever experience the kind of abuse that I went through. So it took some work and it was not easy, but I'm
Yeah.
grateful to be in this place. And I'm grateful that he made sure like, okay, we gonna heal you so that way you don't put this on him.
Yeah. I love that about God, that we can come to him with our anger, with our
Yeah.
frustration, with our
Hmm.
questions, like, I don't understand that. And this hurt me so much. How could you allow something like this to happen? But then he starts connecting the dots and allowing us to see how it was a part of a bigger purpose, a bigger plan that he's had for us. And I love the fact that he increased your empathy for the
Hmm.
woman who was raising you and
Yeah.
trying to seek understanding on why she behaved the way that she did,
Yeah.
as opposed to harboring that hatred in your heart. So good for you for allowing him to penetrate your heart in such a way that you could be open to understanding her story and then recreating your own.
Right. And that was necessary. And I think that's the only way I was able to, and I would have been able to move past that. And matter of fact, during that pray cry session, that's when I remembered as a child hearing about how she was beat.
Mm, yeah.
So, the beating started around 8. So I was 8, 9, 10, 11. I would remember hearing her say stuff and talk to people, and we got it like this and this, that, and the other, and saucepan, axe handle, broomstick, cutting boards, anything she could get her hands on. And I wasn't no saying I deserved spanking, but I'm like, okay, she had to be beat like that. So in the process of forgiving her, I remember a lot of that stuff that hate was covering up.
Yeah.
Hate was holding on to all of that. Like as soon as I let go of some of that, I could understand why, and it was easier to forgive her and let it go and set it down. Like I wish her no ill will. I tried to track her down and call her and tell her I forgave her, and I found out she had already passed. Like a year, I think the year my son was born, she had passed.
Yeah.
But I was okay with that because in my heart, I'd already forgiven. I'd already set it
Yeah.
down. So and
Yeah.
I'm not digging up old stuff, man. I got to keep these hands free so I can catch these blessings.
Come on, because they're coming left and right. And I
Yep.
love that.
Amen.
I love
Amen.
that for you. And again, I was going to touch on this a little later, but since you brought up that November is National Adoption Month, how
Hmm.
has your experience, your story, you said being adopted 7 times? Is that right?
Twice,
Or
twice. Yeah.
two
The
times?
first time was rough. I was adopted a second time, and that one went amazing.
Yeah. So tell me about
That
that part of it.
my best friend at the time, before we were going away to college, Pernell Gates, who is now my brother, he had told his mom that I was still staying in what would end up being my last foster home, and his mom, Michelle Johnson, was like, let's you ain't got to go back over there. Let's go get in the car and go get your stuff. And I was like, nah, Miss Johnson, that's cool, because back then I didn't want to set myself up. Better for me to keep you at a distance than give me a chance to care about you and then you disappoint me.
Yeah.
She was like, get in the car, we're going to get your SHIT.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if I cuss on here, so
You
I ain't want to
can. You
have to
can.
spell it out.
It's all
Okay,
right.
yeah. She's like, and she had a special way of cussing too. She said, get in the car, we're going to get your shit. It's like, yes, mother. Yes, yes, mother. Yes, mother. And that was the adoption process. I had my
Wow.
own bedroom and I had a list of chores, and that family taught me how to be a man. She taught me unconditional love. Her
Mhm.
heart is as big as my hometown, Flint, Michigan. And yeah, I guarantee you she saved my life. She helped me get over. She started my healing process, I think. My being able to trust people process and not expecting disappointment. Because back then, if you don't value yourself, you'll self-sabotage.
That's
If you
right.
don't think you deserve good things, you'll ruin it before somebody else gets a chance to. And
Yeah.
then you'll make it seem, oh yeah, well that was gonna fall apart anyway. No, it wasn't. You
Yeah.
don't value yourself, though. You just destroyed something that could have been wonderful. I used to do that a lot. So I started picking up habits that
Hey.
I was doing. I'm like, that's me. I do that.
Yeah.
Let's fix that. So she taught her mother loving me taught me a lot of things. And it taught me how to look at the dude in the mirror in a way that I don't want to let him down. I don't want to disappoint him. And I want to make sure that he's proud of me.
Yeah.
I want to work today in ways and with effort that's going to make him so proud of me in a year or 2 or 3. And, she helped with that. So that's why I encourage people to make adoption an option. I definitely think it's a thing. There's a lot of amazing, talented, wonderful young people out there that deserve a shot.
Yeah.
And who knows where I'd be if she hadn't taken a shot on me. But, she loved me like she carried me. So, it ended up being a story of victory instead of, a story of defeat and anger and resentment.
Yeah. Is she around now to see all your success and who you've been able to become?
We gonna shorten this part of the subject because we lost mother December 17th,
Oh no.
just under 2 years ago.
Okay.
But when I tell you I had the most amazing mom for 30 years,
Yeah.
so and I know for certain, she was proud. She was like, my baby got a show on TV, So if I wouldn't, other than having her here longer.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would change. She was nothing but amazing, a firecracker, sarcastic, beautiful, brilliant, and like I said, big old heart. And her cheeks, whenever she smiled, they press her eyes up, and she can't see nothing. Like her eyes closed when she smiled real hard. And it's funny because mine do the same thing. So, yeah. But I'm my goal is to still, continue to make her proud.
Yeah.
And I literally I'm partnering with the United Negro College Fund to start a scholarship for next fall in her and my grandmother's name, so we can help 4 young black students go to an HBCU.
Oh, I love that. And look, I went to an HBCU, so I love that. I know the money and funds are needed there for our youth to get a great education, but also be able to do it with their own people and see themselves and see where they can go. So I love that. I look forward to supporting you in that and sharing about that on the platform.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll make sure you have all the deets,
Please.
all the details.
Please. So let's switch gears a little bit. Okay. You talked about who you are now, and one of the things that you left out that you often say is that you're a hopeless romantic. Right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a hopeful romantic.
Oh, I like that. Hopeful romantic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
because hopeless, you might just dive into any opportunity for love. I don't want any opportunity. I want the one for me. I want mine. The one with my name, my GPS pin on it.
Yes, I love that. You're hopeful romantic. And I'm sitting here listening to your lyrics, listening to the music, watching the videos, and I'm like, okay, Christian is trying to bring back real R&B, that grown folks music, that 90s era type of love. Yeah. And I believe you, right? I believe in what you're saying. I believe in what you're singing. You mentioned that it's honest, and I believe you because of who you've been, the conversations you've had around love and relationships, how open you've been about your own experiences. And I love it. I said, I'm watching these videos and the only thing missing is you crying in the rain.
Let me work on that. Next video.
That Christian is giving us that real R&B love and music. We just need a little rain. We just need a little tear or two.
I got you. You know what's funny? I didn't plan on it at the end of the Under That Veil video. Again, in TV and film, I've been married about 5 or 6 times.
Right.
On TV. And I've never been married in real life. So at the end of it, just kind of getting caught up in the emotions of it. And the camera was my wife in the video. So when I lifted the veil up off of her, I did end up, tearing up a little bit, and it made it into the video. Nice. So we didn't have rain, but we got a tear or two.
Okay. So as I'm listening to the music, I'm wondering what your muse was. I'm wondering what inspired the lyrics, what inspired the tone. Was it intentional to be this 90s vibe, or what was your approach, to the music?
Under that, another great question. Under That Veil came from my another one of my heroes, Pernell, the one who used to be my best friend, who's now my brother, my oldest brother. He asked me, like, so, what's going on in your dating life? I was like, man, I'm dating on purpose right now, bro.
Yes.
And if somebody on some nonsense, I don't have time. I'd rather be at home. But I said, if it's not someone I can see being under that veil, I was like, I'm not doing it. And the way my mind works, as soon as I said that, my brain was like, hey, bro, that's a song, right? I was like, okay, well, let me write the song. And that's literally where it came from. And he'll tell you he remembers the conversation, but all of my songs come from like real dialogue. We'll be talking to say something, and or get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved came from a basketball game. I was going through the motions, and somebody knew I could really play, and it was like, Keith, why you ain't playing, man? I was like, well, you ain't passing. He said, come on, man. Okay, I'll pass. Get involved. And I was like, oh, that's a song. And now it's a whole album. So I am to answer your question, I am a hopeful romantic. I'm not giving up on that. I do hope to make it to the other side of that broom at some point soon. I'd love to get married and then, have another child, maybe a daughter this time. We'll see. I know it ain't up to me, just me. So we'll see, but I'm open for it. And I am a little biased. It is something about that melanin. So I'm just gonna, not sorry.
Yeah, don't be. It's good over here.
Yeah. It's good over here.
Listen, Black women is where it's at. So I love that that's how you feel.
Say what I said now. Say what I said.
So also and more along the lines of what you're saying, from what I understand, Under the Veil is actually you wanting to manifest that for yourself, right?
Exactly.
That's where that
Verbatim.
song came from.
Verbatim.
Yeah. I love that. One of the things I wanted to address with you, we're now in this new era of real men don't cheat, right? Like it's a thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in real men doesn't cheat. Talk to the ladies and the young guys out there that may catch this episode, school them on what makes monogamy so attractive. What are the benefits of one?
I'm gonna start with this. My sands. I've pledged the oldest and the coldest. But my sands, Jamil Goodlow. He was always a couple years older than us and about a decade wiser. And he said it back in college. He was like, man, at some point you're gonna get tired of all the extra and that need and that want and that craving, and you just lock into that one. And I knew he was onto something, but I didn't know until I really fell in love, like heavy, like, and it was reciprocated. I was like, "Ooh, this different. This different."
Yeah.
And that made it easier even back then to be like, I can't give you my number. I'm involved. I'm heavily involved. I'm in love. Matter of fact, I will give you my woman's number. You call her and see if you can have my number. That's the only way I can give you my number. I think there is something about making the decision intellectually and spiritually to only allow that passion currency and that emotional currency and that sexual tension to be stimulated by your person. And you lock in on that good tunnel vision, which also ended up being a song that I wrote recently. But it is possible to have that and to see somebody be attractive and not be attracted to them.
Yeah.
It is very possible. There's a lot of beautiful people in the world, but it doesn't mean I want to take you home or go have drinks or go get dinner. No, I gotta hold somebody at home if I'm dating. And if I'm still not getting that energy, like you may have me here, this might be wonderful, but if we can't have a conversation in the middle of the night about life, like the songs say, if we can't, if you can't teach me things and inspire me and make me a better person and be receptive to me doing the same to you, because I'm certain that you have more experience and you're more educated in certain areas of life than I am. So teach me and allow me to do the same to you. And if it's not that kind of wonderful and that kind of humor and that kind of, we got to stop the movie because we talking and forget all about the movie and Netflix done went off, the TV done went off and all of this. If it ain't that thing, then I'm not doing it, man. I'd rather be at home watching Hulu or Netflix by my damn self.
Okay, I'm with you. I love that. Okay, so here on Ben Worthy, the podcast, one of the things I have all of my guests do is share their worthy aha moment. So this is that moment when you realize not only are you worthy of all the things that love and life have to offer, but you've been worthy and started thinking and moving accordingly. You started walking a little taller. What was that moment for you? Now, I know that can be a series of events. Most of us have several aha moments over the course of our lives, but can you pinpoint one that was really impactful or stood out for you?
I'll give you my first one.
Okay.
My first professional one, I did a stage play in 2003. This is even before the Medea stuff. And I'm on stage with Shirley Murdoch, Regina Bell, Carl Payne, Carvin Winans. And I'm looking around like, you on my TV, you in my tape deck and record player. I started to feel like a peer. I didn't feel like a peer yet, but I started to feel like, wait, might be something to this. First thought was, I didn't get cocky. I was like, let me study more. Because if I'm gonna be up here acting and doing these plays with these amazing people, I'm not gonna be, some big pretty dude that can't act.
Yeah.
You're gonna respect my craft and my talent. So I'm gonna put so much work into it where it's gonna be undeniable.
Yeah.
But professionally, that was one of the first ones. And then, of course, writing and selling All the Queen's Men to Tyler Perry Studios. That, as an executive, that felt like, because we were checking in the pandemic during the bubble. We had like a very secluded thing, and I gave my name and my ID, and I was like, Christian Keys. Gave him that. He's like, Keys. Christian Keys, like the reason we're here working right now. Christian Keys.
Wow.
I had to walk around the corner because somebody started cutting onions.
Oh.
Because I was like, and it hit, and there go them chills again.
Yeah.
But I had to walk it off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I came on back, and I was like, yeah, and I introduced myself, but we never. Sometimes we forget that our blessings are attached to other people too. And like, if we're operating on full tilt and our engine is running good and we're healthy and we're functioning in our purpose, we can bless other people. It's 150 people that go to work every time we shoot a season of my show.
Yeah.
And if that ain't a worthy moment right there, that's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
You went from doing stage plays with him, Tyler Perry,
Uh-huh.
to then him buying your book, concept, the script, and now season 3.
Yeah, and more. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
and more.
Season 3.
And what's crazy is, and this is the beauty of it, ownership is wonderful. So let's say when season 6, 7, 8, when the show is finally done,
yeah,
my intellectual property comes back to me. So if I want to write more books about that, I can. I've already outlined a couple films and spin-off things I want to do, create more jobs, more opportunity, and tell more great stories. Yeah. So it's, our blessings are attached to other people. And then the other I'm worthy moment is when, like, I must be all right if God gave me a son like he gave me. Like, I must be pretty cool if he thinks that much of me to make him and allow me to help shape and raise this young man. I must be worthy.
Yes, I love that. I'm a mom myself, so I totally get that. Yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that, and nothing can replace that feeling. So I'm excited for you and your son that you all have this type of relationship and he has that type of father in you. Okay, so I'm closing this out. One thing that I like to end each episode with is a game. Are you up for a quick game?
Why not?
Okay, it's really quick. It's a rapid fire game. Usually, I give you one word and you have 5 seconds or less to say the first word that comes to mind. But this time, we're going to title it So Sweet in lieu of your So Sweet tour. Kicking off tomorrow in the ATL. Yes. And so this is going to be called So Sweet. So I want to say a word, and I want you to tell me in 5 seconds or less what's so sweet about this word. Okay? Are you ready? Drum roll? All right. Love.
Oh my goodness. What's so sweet about love? The sriracha and honey of it.
Sriracha and honey. Christian, I've never heard anybody say that. I love that.
Because it can be that, it can be both.
Yeah.
Or it can be separate. It can be, it depends on how healthy it is. It can just be all sriracha. Don't nobody want a tablespoon of just sriracha sauce.
Okay.
But the two together, if you put a drop and a drop.
Okay.
When it's right now.
Sriracha and honey. Okay, you've got me with that. I'm taking notes. I'm writing that down. All right. Black women.
Oh my goodness. Magic, melanated Wonder Woman magic.
I love it. All of it. Black men.
strength, vulnerability, and leadership when we choose to.
When we choose to. I like that.
Yeah.
The arts.
The expression, the connection, the universal language of music, food, art, love, the arts.
Yeah. Fatherhood.
Oh my goodness. The future, the hope, the audacity of hope, the healing, the opportunity to be what you needed.
Yeah.
That's what's so sweet about it.
Legacy.
Oh my goodness. Hoping and watching him go, or him or her go farther and do better and avoid mistakes that you made, and setting them up to go even farther.
Yeah. And last but not least, Christian Keys.
What is so sweet. I have fallen in love with the process of getting better and growing. And I have signed up to Lifetime University and committed myself to being a lifetime student. And I think that's pretty great.
Well, I think it's great too. I'm so grateful for your yes and coming on and sharing about your success, topping the charts. Congratulations, top 30. We love to see it. I'm super excited. You're giving us the new Black wedding anthem, and I can't wait to see it all over social media.
And we're going to send you the videos. We're going to send you both the Under That Veil, and then we did a red wine mix that's like an acoustic stripped down version of Under That Veil. Yeah. And it's, oh my goodness, it's, some people are like, okay, don't take this the wrong way. I love the first one, but I might love this one even more. I'm not mad. Yeah. I'm not. We're going to send you both.
We don't have time to get into it, but we also need you to send us stuff on what is it? Cooking in the Kitchen Naked. What is that one, Christian?
Cook my dinner naked. I grew up on blues too. Yeah. And when you're in a healthy, functional relationship, you can call your woman and be like, "Baby, I'm headed home.
That's right.
Be cooking dinner naked when I get home." That's love right there. That sounds pretty sweet to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, what will be also sweet if you share with us how to stay connected, how to follow, how to support what you have going on, and how to get tickets to the tour.
Got you. As far as the tour, Atlanta, Philly, Pittsburgh, Chicago, and St. Louis, they can go to the city winery websites for those cities. That's the only authentic place to get your tickets. I don't want anybody getting price gouged or scammed. Officialchristiankeys.com is my actual website, and my social media. Instagram is @Christian Keys, ChristianKeyes, no dashes, slashes, or numbers. And it's verified. My Facebook is Actor Christian Keys, and that's verified. My TikTok is Actor Christian Keys. My YouTube is Actor Christian Keys. I only have one page on every major platform. Everything else is fake. Okay.
Well, thank you. We will be connected. Thank you for your transparency and the representation, the model that you're being to Black men and young Black men, and the hope that you're giving single Black women, that there are men out there that are hopeful for love and to fall in, and displaying that in your music and all of that. So thank you. Continued success. And I look forward to staying connected.
Thank you very much. And likewise.